That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
So I think you had a little evidence for your ability to...
Well, I watched a lot of James Bond. And I knew, based on James Bond...
I did not see that coming. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billen.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Google or fact-checking things online. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
And so tonight we've got a topic that comes to us the old man way from TikTok. So it was a TikTok question that ended up on Reels, and so I saw it probably 2 weeks after the fact.
Oh, so it goes for you, it goes to TikTok,
right,
to Instagram, to Facebook, to Reels.
Right. Well, Reels is on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Reels is on Facebook also.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I see it on Instagram.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't even watch the whole reel.
Well, that's what we usually do.
Yeah.
We get through the first 2 to 3 sentences and we're experts.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so the question was, this girl or the thing that was going around was asking guys, could you land an airplane?
And that was just the kind of an open-ended situation.
Open-ended question, yeah. And so as soon as she said it, I was like, yeah, of course I could land an airplane. So
this goes along with the Roman Empire question, right?
So I immediately texted.
Wait, hold on. Is she only asking girls? I mean, only asking guys?
I didn't even get that far. As soon as I saw it, I was like, what kind of question is this? Of course I can land an airplane. I immediately text you, say, you think you can land an airplane? And you shot back immediately, of course I can land an airplane.
I think it was heck yeah.
Yeah. You said, heck yeah, I can land an airplane. So now I'm really kind of fascinated by this at this point. And so I text several other people throughout the day, and pretty much everybody's like, yeah, I could land an airplane. Why would you even ask? Why is this even a question about whether we can land airplanes or not? Of course we can land airplanes. And so there was a few that said, well, they asked questions or had, one person said, no, I don't think I could do it. But one guy I texted individually who thought would instantly come back and say, oh yeah, I can land an airplane, came back and said, no, he could not land an airplane, which really surprised me. So I had to dig a little deeper. Turns out there's a whole story behind why he thinks he can't land an airplane.
Well, let's get him on the phone.
We'll get him on the phone. So here's the interesting thing is that before the story, he thought he could land. His answer would have been an emphatic yes.
Well, he's an engineer.
Yeah, he's an engineer. He's my good buddy from Alabama.
So he knows how things work.
He knows how things work.
He's probably been on a flight simulator on the PC.
Yeah.
I mean, I have hours of flight simulator experience, Cecil.
I remember you saying this. You had PC flight simulator, right?
Yeah, it was actually
Commodore?
It wasn't even PC. It was on the Commodore 64.
Many hours.
Flying
around. Did you land?
All the time.
Landed the plane.
All the time.
Have you ever landed an RC plane?
No, I've never flown an RC plane.
I've never flown an RC plane either.
I think that's very different.
I do too. I've seen a lot of people crash RC planes.
There's plenty of reels on that.
Plenty of reels of that. Some really expensive RC planes too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine these.
But you spend hours landing planes on...
Oh, yeah.
On there. And so you think you could fly. I think I can fly for the same reason I think I can ski. Is I spent...
Wait. What kind of skiing? Snow
skiing. Yeah.
Have you never snow skied before?
I've snow skied once.
Okay.
As I was going there, I knew I could do it. When they said, you want to go snow skiing? I said, of course.
Right.
It would be the same as if I was on a plane and someone said, can you land a plane? I'd be,
I'll
sure.
Do it. Really?
Where's the cockpit?
Put me in, coach.
Yeah. They said, you want to go skiing? I was like, yeah. They said, have you ever skied before? I was like,
no, but how hard could it be?
No, in my mind, I could do it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you ice skate?
No. I'd already failed miserably at that.
Roller skate?
I can roller skate.
Okay.
So
I think you had a little evidence for your ability to...
Well, I watched a lot of James Bond. And I knew, based on James Bond...
I did not see that coming.
Based on lots of James Bond. This is the same reason I think I can fly an airplane, is because I watched Maverick do it.
Because you watched Top Gun?
Yeah, Top Gun. I watched James Bond ski. Looks very easy.
Especially when you were being shot at.
Especially when you're being shot at. I got to the slopes, went up to the top, fully confident that I was going to be able to handle this, and just fell
The whole way down,
the
I
whole
bet.
way down.
Wait, how did you even make it onto the lift? I mean,
I was very
there's a
confident.
certain amount of...
I know. I was very confident about all that.
But so you did the
I
lift
did all
okay.
the lift fine.
It was
Got up at the
flat.
top. Yeah. Got off at the top, started down, and realized that it was not just some side-to-side motion that you would...
It's not just swooshing.
It's not just
Swooshing through the powder.
No, it was not. But anyways, we got Chris on the phone. We're going to dial him up, get him on the phone, have him tell your story, his story personally, about why he said he could not land a plane. All right, so we've been talking about this TikTok challenge about what's a guy going to say if you say, can you land a plane? And so we polled people during the week. One guy asked, I thought would be a definite yes, but it came back no. But it came back no for a good reason. I was surprised. But we got him on the air tonight. My good friend from Alabama, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cecil. It's good to join CDSR. It's mostly kind of on the video, I'll text that I didn't think I'd be able to land a plane. And the reason is, about 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago, I got the opportunity to fly or go in a C-38 simulator. And because my good friend Bill had gotten his wing, and as part of that, at Columbus Air Force Base, they let them bring some people in and fly simulators.
Chris, a T-38 is a real training jet for the Air Force, and this is a real simulator that moves you around inside that a real Air Force pilot would actually train on. Is that right?
That is correct. The T-38 is a two-seater training jet that is it's very fast and nimble, and it is used by the Air Force and being phased out for the new T-7. But it's used by the Air Force to train pilots to get their wings at the end of training, and to start to transition from the previous training to the final stage. They have to fly in the simulator or go in the simulator, and they call it flying it, so many hours. And they have to be able to land it and take off, perform certain maneuvers and all that kind of stuff in the simulator. And then they do real scenarios, and then they fly some more simulator time to prepare for their next scenario that they'll fly in the actual plane. Because flying planes jet fuel is expensive. Simulators not as expensive.
So you're in a real simulator.
The real Air Force pilots have been in for many decades now.
Getting into the simulator, did you think you could fly it before anything happened?
When I drove onto the Air Force Base and got in the simulator, I thought I could fly it. But my buddy Bill, and so one other thing about the T-38, so the way the T-38 is configured is the pilot in training sits in the front, and the trainer or instructor pilot sits behind them. And so they're watching everything they do and can take over and land the plane if they need to in a real. And so that's the way it is in a simulator too. And so my friend, the pilot, was behind me in the simulator, in front of it. And so the very first thing, though, my good buddy Bill did was humble me, or not the very first thing, but he took me off and flew me around and showed me how realistic the thing was. And it's very realistic. You could see things that I could recognize things on the ground in the simulation that I knew were out there because I'm familiar with the area because I'm family farming in that area too. And he did that. Well, as part of flying me around a roll plane.
Really?
Well, the simulator is anchored into concrete.
Right.
It does not go upside down. I am not bubbled in because this full, you're like sitting in the cockpit. It's tight for a big boy like me. And so I stuck my hands up on the canopy and leveled the plane out and died He pulled one over on me.
Right.
Then I realized, then it dawned on me because your brain is telling you went upside down,
Right.
but you didn't. And it's that, and I said that until he got to say, that's also how realistic it is. So that's funny, but that's also how realistic simulators are. And this was 30-something years ago. Simulators now are
So you felt like you were flying.
Go ahead.
You felt like you were flying.
I felt like I was flying. And after he had trained me to fly, he taught me how to take off, and he taught me how to fly, bank, and shoot an approach, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that was easy, but it was very doable in a short period of time to teach me the some way to do that. But I said, well, I can land it. He said, no, we'll do that at the very end. And the reason he said that was, it's not easy. The very first time he tried to help me land it, I said, well, I could just shoot the approach like I just did, and we had flown over the airfield, the runway, and then did another circle around in the in the simulator of the pattern. And you can see those little planes out there and all that kind of stuff, and you have to wait your turn. Well, I'm shooting another approach, and I come in, and I just crash it. Immediately. I slam it into the ground, and I mean, it shakes you. The simulator shook me violently.
Huh.
Well, we had about an hour in simulator time, and so we were going to run out of time, but he kept trying to help me learn to land it, and I tried multiple times, and I never could. And even to the point he got me on the right glide slope and even at the right speed at one time, but I couldn't set it down from just a few 100 feet off the runway to setting it down. Now, you got to realize that plane is moving very fast, and it's, marginally stable platform as it is, but still, it's a lot harder to land the jet, especially than the average person thinks. That's the hardest thing to do, in my opinion, in flying, is landing.
See, this is great because you've given us both sides of this. You were confident getting in that you would be able to land it, and then the simulator proved you wrong.
Oh, it definitely did. So I've never taken that for granted since then in 30-something years.
Do you think it would have been different if it had been a Cessna or something like that instead of a jet?
It would have been different, and I mean, that's why they start people up and stuff, so they're much more stable and forgiving about landing. It would have been much more forgiving. I've also tried like a pretty realistic version of PC Flight Simulator, but it was a real yoke and a real, like a big screen TV instead of the computer monitor. And that was, I could fly the thing, but I could not land it.
Really? All right.
And it's a lot to land, that even on some big runways. And a lot of that is getting the approach right.
Well, you'll just to let you know, a very hurtful subsection of this has come up recently, where the question was posed: if you were on a plane and either Peter or I had to land it, knowing what we know, who would you want to land it? And someone very close and dear to me said, "Oh, I think I'd rather Peter land it."
Well,
but if it was you and me, Chris, I'd trust you to land it.
I would trust Chris over any of us.
You trust me to land it. I would say you boys better work on your prayer life.
We're all believers, so we're.
Right.
Yep. All right. So.
No, friends, but I would rather be on the plane if that was the case than I didn't land it. I know the guys are excellent pilots.
Well, before you leave us, we want to see if you'll do the speed round with us. You ready? All right. So there's 5 questions. First question is, would you rather be a pharmacist or an engineer? All right. Second question is, do you listen to That Don't Sound Right? All right. Third question is, do you like or think That Don't Sound Right is cool?
I do think I don't sound right in school, and I laugh. It makes me laugh almost every week.
Oh, that's good. All right. If you had to listen to one band for the rest of your life, who would that be?
What band?
Band and or singer.
Band or singer? Well, right now in my life, probably Zach Williams.
All right. Good. All right. If you could live anywhere for 1 year, where would it be?
Live anywhere for 1 year, but not permanently.
Not permanently. Oh, yeah. You'll have to come back and tell us about your Alaska adventures. We've got an ice road driver on here with us. Peter's driven up there in Alaska, 18-wheeler.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to hear about that.
We can, yeah. There's a couple things about doing that don't sound right.
And then,
Trucking, that's the That Don't Sound Right there.
have you been on the ice road?
No, I've not been the one that they show on TV. I have
Okay.
not.
And then final question, Chris. What is your dream car / truck?
My dream at this point in my life is single wheel S350 full drive fuck down.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
It's a good choice.
But I want one of the old diesel motors that's before that.
All right. Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, man. Thanks for being on here.
Pleasure.
Yeah, Chris.
Have a great night.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
See you, man.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
All right, Chris. Thanks, Chris, for your story. Glad we could get him on the phone.
Yeah, Chris, that was amazing. I still think you should be able to land that thing.
Even given that story, if you ask me again right now, do I think I could land a plane? Oh, yeah.
I would love to try. I mean, you got to imagine people are lined up.
Yeah.
People would line up to get on any kind of simulator
Oh,
and
yeah.
try to this.
Well, everything is telling me that I can't land a plane because, like, I got in a NASCAR simulator.
How'd you do?
Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Sure.
I was in the wall the whole time.
So my neighbor just built a rig with the steering wheel pedals
Right.
to drive an F1 car. And I'm pretty sure.
Gran Turismo kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
for F1 racing. It's for the F1 racing simulator on the Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to jump right in there and do fine.
Be able to do fine. Absolutely. Have you seen Gran Turismo yet?
The movie?
Yeah.
I have, yes.
Yeah. So that's about somebody who grew up on a simulator that took it to the track.
Right. And they were successful.
They were successful. First now they had logged thousands of hours in the simulator.
Thousands.
But yeah, no, I got in the NASCAR simulator and just drove it into the wall repeatedly.
Isn't that amazing?
It is
It's
amazing.
amazing. Well, it's because you can't feel it. That's my excuse.
Right.
I can't feel the engine.
Can't feel the engine. Can't
I
hear
can't
it.
feel it. You know.
Well, this one was set up that it did give you feedback.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
it
right.
was set up on a stand. All right. Well, it don't sound right. Just like flying a plane, landing a plane, it don't sound right. But you've come to the end of another That Don't Sound Right.
Hey, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. Hey, if this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating and leave us a review so others can easily find and join the conversation.
And Chris, you'll have to post this to all your social media this week since you were on the show. All right, That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am one of your hosts and your sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is the other host and does your web design. Camille is our barista. Emily does our graphic design. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is
Scott.
So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.